What phase did you go through when you were younger that, at the time, you were convinced would be part of your identity for life? My stuffed bear I got as a baby. I used to imagine scenarios with Kuma, my wife, and I sharing a bed. Of course, Kuma would get the middle of the bed just in case my wife wanted to hold him a little during the night. That is freaking adorable. Due to films like Gremlins and Back to the Future, I set my young eyes on the lofty and glamorous career goals of being an inventor. I assumed I'd go to an office or laboratory of some sort, then spend roughly 8 hours a day inventing, for which I would be paid some sum of money. I remember once when I was a bit older getting a list of average salaries for different job types and being disappointed that inventors were not listed. It's not under I for inventor, it's under E for engineer. I was freaking obsessed with Weird Al Yankovic. I had plans to get his face tattooed on me when I was 11. I was a pretty bizarre kid. When I first read this I thought you said you wanted to get his face tattooed on your face. Getting it on a different part of your body is somewhat less awful. In middle school, Limp Bizkit had just released chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water. I thought I'd be a fan of theirs for life. When I saw the Fred Durst AMA a couple weeks ago, I remember saying to myself, I thought he died like 5 years ago. Still love that the top comment in his ammo was LOL. Everyone at my school wore a Abercrombie and I wanted to wear it so bad, but my mom didn't let me shop there, for reasons I understand now, but I was sure that I was going to wear Abercrombie the rest of my life. I was obsessed with it, and I was a fat middle schooler so none of it even fit me. I love you. This made me giggle, as the girl that got made fun of for wearing Walmart clothes. I feel your pain. Wolves, oh god why? Wolf t-shirts, Wolf pictures, Wolf BBS handles, just wolves everywhere. It's been 20 years and I still get themed gifts from relatives. Long hair, flannel shirt around my waist, chain on my wallet, Doc Martens boots and grunge music. I wasn't even a lesbian. Well, maybe I was, but I was trapped in a pudgy boy's body. Being a hardcore Sega fan. It may not sound too implausible but back when we were 5 or so my brother and I had huge plans to one day open a shop that sold only Sega games and we would have a van that we would drive to people's houses to deliver Sega games and it would be awesome. Of course we didn't factor in Sega quitting hardware production or the general decline of Sega as a company. We can still dream though. I really want to see your creepy but windowless Sega van rolling down my street blaring 8-bit video game music, driving super slow to give all the sedentary gamers time to put some sweatpants on and find their wallet under the couch cushions and come waddling out to get on the latest Sonic game. There was a period of time when I was obsessed with the movie Fight Club. Absolutely obsessed. I worshipped Tyler Durden like a god. I remembered all of his philosophical quotes and read about all his beliefs. I became a nihilist and stopped caring about everything. It was pretty bad and embarrassing now that I can reflect on how I was. After a few years I grew up and realized that Tyler was the antagonist of the film. He was supposed to show how a group of unmotivated and directionless people can be so easily controlled by a charismatic leader. I took the film too seriously and considered selling everything I had and just living in the wilderness alone. Thank goodness I grew up haha. TLDR. I tried to become Tyler Durden, but realized he was kind of a douche. I'm in my 30s and want to sell all of my stuff and live in the woods. I don't think my family would go for that idea though. Trench coat and all black clothing with heavy metal as my primary music. I was basically a metalhead with a little goth for funsies. I was certain that I would be like that for life because I wrote poetry about my non-conformity and that's pure hardcore. I am now 33 with short hair, balding, and lots of different colors in my wardrobe. I listen to just about any music as long as it sounds good to me, and I am a 9'5" average Joe. My teenage self would be furious. The Matrix. Chubby, awkward, shy. I wanted to be Trinity so bad. I wore the same pair of black leather boots every day and sported black ill-fitting clothing. I wouldn't even loan out my special edition DVD. I even bought an autographed picture of Neo from eBay. Ugh, cringe. I wanted to be Mouse. I was about 115 pounds in high school and wore a 3-piece suit with a black snakeskin coat to school. Approaching the 5-year mark, I get the feeling I might regret this Fall Out Boy tattoo soon. I get the feeling you already do. I wanted to be a rapper circa 2000 to 2002. I then realized that I would be terrible and set on to my next unattainable goal. I used to love playing video computer games growing up. I never dreamed that I would stop having the desire to game when I became an adult. Sadly, that's the same for me. It's just lost its magic for me and I don't know how to get it back. It seems more like a chore to start up a game and stick with it to the very end. An author. I thought that was how I would make all my money forever. Now all I have to show for it is a half-finished crappy novel and like 40 crappy short stories, and all I do anymore is read stuff on Reddit. I hate you guys. Keep on writing. Being a stoner. I used to smoke a lot of weed, but haven't smoked any for many years after getting married and having a kid. At times I want to again though, and I live in CO, so. The trick is to not treat or think of it like a drug. Treat it like a beer. Some people have a glass of wine, a glass of scotch, or a couple beers after work. I like to smoke a J on my back porch, grill up some food, and relax after a long day, and it has the distinct advantage of not giving you a hangover if you overindulge. I used to be absolutely awful with women. I was pretty sure I was going to end up completely alone in life, but I took proactive steps to basically learn how to open up my options. Got a pretty loving and nurturing girl now. Being a physically unattractive, geeky teenager with serious self-esteem issues. I thought I would be undesirable forever. Puberty certainly helped, and somewhere in my early 20s I developed genuine self-confidence, took risks, and in general have a positive outlook on life with a renewed joie de vivre. So there's that. Late puberty sucked for me. Senior year, when my friends were outside with their shirts off and defined abs showing, I had nothing. I was just as strong as them but had zero definition. Was about 5 feet 7 inches and had a baby face. I'm 23 now and 5 feet 9 inches with a lot more muscle definition when I work out, and I'm supposedly still growing. The self-esteem is a whole different thing. Wicca. I was raised Christian, but started losing my faith early, and was a non-believer by the age of 12. I'm not sure how I happened upon it, but I found Wicca and really dug what it was all about. I saved up birthday money to buy books when my parents weren't around, and spent a shitton of time researching every aspect of witchcraft online. I had huge Word documents full of information. I performed a few rituals, celebrated some Sabbats, and even formed a mini coven with some other middle school Wiccans when I was 14. I dreamed of the day I would get my driver's license so that I could go to the mall alone and buy Wicca books without my mom breathing down my neck. I researched covens in my area and was totally prepared to join once I was old enough. I was going to be a witch forever. By the time I was 16, I'd lost interest. I passively practiced for a while before giving up on conforming to a single religion. Now, I have a fascination with studying religions, but I'm not the badass hippie which my 14-year-old self imagined being. After I saw The Craft, I so wanted to be a witch. Bought books and everything. It was too much work. Cats. I was a 7-year-old cat lady. I wore cat print shirts every day, had to bring up my cat in every conversation, and liked to walk around meowing like a cat and purring. Every single thing I owned had to have a cat on it. If that wasn't an option, I'd draw one. Jesus, that's embarrassing to think about now. I read the book of Revelation when I was 14 and, out of fear, became a Christian for the first time in my life. For about 6 weeks. I used to have a massive amount of anxiety and got panic attacks regularly enough that living through each day was a challenge, and I didn't know how much longer I could stand to continue. After years of self-guided behavioral correction, I have almost no anxiety of any kind ever, perhaps even when I should. Being the random one. Not sporks in particular, but essentially in the same vein of a lol look how different I am. Ugh, the cringe. Several years ago I was very depressed, to the point of considering suicide since I was so convinced in the pointlessness of it all. I couldn't see myself living past 18. Thankfully, I'm not that depressed anymore. Glad you made it through equals. When I was kicked out of the school at the age of 18, a lot of crap followed. I was convinced I was the biggest failure that I know of. All changed when I started working and paid my way through university and end up working in an industry I have always dreamed to be a part of. 2 TTEs. Developed this weird need to shake my head and make a strange noise with my throat. Lasted for about a year. Thought my life was fricked and then just disappeared. How about that? When I was a kid, I loved Greek mythology. I would get the Euler's book of mythology from the library at least once a month. Went to high school, took Latin for 5 years. Then when I went to college I wanted to study English and psychology. Ended up graduating with an ancient Greek and classical civilization double major. So sometimes you're right when you're a kid. I was the nerd kid. I figured that would be with me all my life. I was right. Well, I guess partly right. I still love math and science and knowledge. I just also love art and athletics. I didn't drop the nerd stuff. I just added a lot of other stuff. Things I couldn't have guessed at 4 years ago. Listening to fast, aggressive music, punk rock, hardcore, spazzy crap, black metal. I remember thinking I would never settle down into light music or jazz or soft rock. Now I love everything. From minimalist composure to the loudest stoner metal and everything in between. I acted dark and moody because I thought it made me more interesting. I realized how stupid that was after the following conversation with the girl I used to like. Her. So what are you doing? Me. Go away. Trying to be sad and troubled. Her. Well that was pretty mean. Turns to walk away. Me. Wow. Yeah I'm sorry about saying that. Proceeds to normal conversation. Good thing I quickly learned I was wrong. I still kinda miss her though. I remember that my problem was I watched a crap ton of anime and thought being dark, sad, mysterious made me interesting because in animes they're always cool. What a wake up call that was. Not me, but my brother. When he was high school college he would wear nothing but black. Very picky about food, mostly just meat and grains. No green stuff and very few other colored veggies. Loved music and media. Programming, staying up late and sleeping in. I had no reason to believe that this would ever change. Now he's a novice Buddhist monk. He's wearing orange-brown robes, is vegetarian by choice. They actually can eat meat. He just chooses not to. And of course no music, entertainment and a 5 AM wake up time. He's like a completely different person and not that I didn't love him before. I'm very proud of him. When I was 5 I was convinced I was Cookie Monster because I too loved cookies more than anything. My mom told me, Cookie Monster is not real honey, he's just a character on a TV show. I told her, I am the Cookie Monster. I used to be one of those scene girls. I wore band t-shirts of bands I didn't even know of, puffy hair, MySpace pictures, and neon everywhere. I actually used to put on white costume foundation so I would look more pale. I'm cringing. I was a religious, straight-edge teenager. I thought I would always love God, wait until marriage to have sex, and never use, much less abuse, drugs or alcohol. Then college. This past new year I opened up a time capsule that I had to make when I was in 2nd grade. A lot of my notes to myself were along the lines of I hope I am still a good Christian that doesn't smoke or drink alcohol, and I had to laugh because I was drunk and high when I opened that thing. The bad girl phase. Sneaking out, running away, lying, lots of drugs and booze. I was really hot and heavy with it from middle school through high school. Once I got to college my love of amphetamines was socially acceptable in the form of Adderall use. I spent 2 years so high on speed it started to have an effect on my mental health. No sleep will do that to you. I realized I wasn't getting where I wanted to go in life and could still be cool without totally wrecking my body and my mind. It was, and still is, hard to shake the association of heavy partying and drug use with my identity. I changed. My friends didn't. New shift in perspective meant the people I surrounded myself with had to change too. Not easy. Definitely worth it. When I was about 8 I thought about how much I loved climbing trees, and how adults don't like climbing trees, and when I became an adult, I would never give up my love of tree climbing. Now I'm 24, still like climbing trees. When I was around 10, I used to not sleep with a pillow because I didn't think I was good enough for it. I didn't think I deserved a freaking pillow. Acting like a Looney Tunes character. It was working well through first grade, so I figured it'd help with my new school too. Turns out Pokemon was more the thing at the time and I became the weird kid. I never really got out of it. I'm just more discreet when I'm eating my carrots oddly these days. For me it was body piercings. Turned 18, put holes in my face, my ears, my mouth, my nipples, and a bar at the base of my dong. Thought tattoos would prevent me from getting a job, yet my stainless steel jewelry was perfectly benign to my career outlook. I would forever be able to wear them proud and change them to suit my mood personality. Learned some hard lessons about infections. Got my dong bar snagged up in some poor girl's pubis. Bled like a mofo when we finally got untangled. Since then, graduated college, hit the corporate world, removed all but my nipples. Hey, an engineer needs something wild to hide. I thought I was going to love concerts until the day I died. I spent all of my money in concert tickets and I actually enjoyed being trapped in a sweaty mass of people, getting shuffled around and trampled. Hair plastered to the back of my neck was wet, losing my shoes and phone. Whatever, man. It was all about the music. I was at a concert last night where I was in the center, about 6 rows of people from the barrier. It was awful. Tall people blocked my view of the stage. I fell over multiple times. Failed crowd surfers fell on me, and I had to hide behind a, thankfully very nice and understanding, young man for the entire show. I've come to the conclusion that I'm too old for that kinda crap. I'll still go to concerts, but I'll be standing in the back from now on. On the upside, no tattoo regret. Everyone who told me I'd regret it later can suck it. Militant atheist. Now I am completely open to new ideas and look to understand other people's beliefs instead of just outright dismissing them. I was pretty hardcore atheist and thought all believers of anything were morons. DMT changed that for me quickly. The long greasy haired skinny rebel. The whole frick the world and no one understands me bit with an unhealthy dose of unjustified cynicism sprinkled on top. Throw in a downloaded copy of the anarchist's cookbook, some loud, angry music, and the belief that you're smarter than everyone else. I thought I was perfect in everything and everybody else was too stupid to realize it. God, I was a prick in middle school. So much nicer to just relax and be happy. Too many beautiful things in the world to be angry all the time. I like the new me a lot better. And so, as it turns out, does everyone else. Back in the early to mid 80s, my entire young pre-teen life revolved around skateboarding. I was obsessed with all things skateboarding. My walls were plastered with hundreds of pages from skate magazines. I used to hang my old, broken skateboards and worn wheels on strings from the ceiling. I dressed the part all the time, including duct tape on my shoes. I literally slept with my skateboard in my bed. I carried it at school and everywhere I went. I would spend every spare second skateboarding whenever and wherever. I thought I would be a skater for life. Now, if I were to get on a skateboard, I'd either kill myself or the kids in the neighborhood would be tweeting about the fat old guy attempting a kickflip, which was a super rad trick back in the day. I was freaking ridiculously scared of ghosts. I thought I'd grow up constantly keeping the lights on and sitting watching QVC until I couldn't stay awake anymore. I now live alone and give no fricks about Casper. Pokemon. I once told my mom I'll never not like Pokemon and she laughed and assured me I would grow out of it. She was, wait, frick it, I still love Pokemon. Loving riced out Fast and Furious type cars. I swore I was going to be a dentist driving a $60,000 Civic when I got older. Haha, I still think those cars are awesome, but I wouldn't ever get one or mod a car into one. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.